Assalamu alaikum everyone. So today we are going to be looking at the pricing methods. We have discussed earlier about what price is and what price elasticity of demand is. Now we're going to be looking at the pricing decisions. You have already discovered the factors that decide pricing decisions if you want to know, like the short term and long term objectives of the business, the cost of production, the current competition, price elasticity of demand, new old product differentiation. So all these are the factors uh, that helps to determine the price. So what are the pricing methods? There are in general five pricing methods, strategies to be exact: cost based competition, price skimming, price penetration, and price discrimination. So let's look at price cost based pricing. It's basically a pricing strategy, as the name suggests, in which a business adds a certain amount to its cost to determine the price, so a certain percent of profit can be achieved. You just look at the cost, just the cost, what is the cost of production, and you add your own percentage of profit that you want to determine the price. Now, how that can be done? There are multiple ways for that. In our course, we look at these three important ones, the normal ones. Not there's not yet I've seen any question. I've not seen any question about any of these yet, but it's part of course. So let's just these are some just basic definitions of these cost-based pricing methods. Three basic cost-based pricing methods. There's contribution cost pricing, where we set prices based on the variable cost of making a product in order to make a contribution towards fixed cost and profit. And there's adding a fixed markup for profit to the unit price of a product. And the full cost pricing is setting a price by calculating a unit cost for the product and then adding a fixed profit margin. Now these two are like self-explanatory. There's nothing much explanation need to be not required for any of these. So I'm not going to go too much into detail about it. You just need to know the definitions and all, and that's also just in case a question arrives. But in this one, the variable costs are like costs that vary with number of outputs. So per unit variable cost. So if you are making a product, for example, let's say a Coke, what is the variable cost for Coke? Let's say just an example, it's $2, and you want the fixed cost for making 1,000 Coke bottles, let's say $100. So you want each Coke bottle to contribute $1 towards covering the fixed cost, like towards covering up the rents and all that. You want each Coke bottle to do that. Your variable cost is $2, so you add $1, that makes it $3. That is your selling price. The variable cost plus the contribution you want. That's the contribution cost pricing. Markup, you just add a markup to the profit, like 10%, 20%, 50% even. And full cost pricing is like you determine the unit cost of production and then add a fixed profit margin, like how much profit margin do you want on that product after calculating the unit cost, of course. Then there's competitive pricing, price skimming, price penetration. Let's look at them one by one. In competitive pricing, it's basically a method of pricing where a product or service is set based upon the price set by competitors. A business can therefore charge a price slightly lower than competitors to gain more customers and increase sales revenue. So over in this method, we look at what price the competition is charging, not just our own cost, but also like what the competition is doing. So it's not like you can add as much as profit you want. No, that's not the case. You have to look at what the competition is allowing, because you want your product to be sold. Because if your product is charged relatively higher than competitors, people won't buy your product, they will go to competitors. Your demand will decrease. So hence, in order to, if it's a competitive industry, you need to level your prices to your competitors, and if you lower your prices than your competitors, then there's a greater chance that customers will be attracted to your product. However, that's a different story if you are using branding or branded products, USPs and all, so you don't have to do custom competitive pricing in that case. Then there's price giving, price penetration. They both are generally used for new products and completely opposite to each other. In price skimming, very high prices first set and that is slowly decrease as competition increases, And in price penetration, a product which is new is charged low, and as its demand increases, the price also increases. So in price skimming, as I just explained, it's a method of pricing where a high price is set for a product first and is slowly decreased as competitors rise. It is used for products considered to be unique, having special features and low price elasticity of demand, generally new products. The aim is to maximize short-term profit before competitors enter the market. It creates a customer perception of high quality and can be used by producers of luxury goods to focus on status conscious customers who will pay high prices. So like if the product is inelastic in nature, like its demand won't decrease that much if you increase the price, so you generally have charged a relatively high price at first because that product is unique. There's no other product like that. And as competition arises, me too products start arriving in the market, so there are more similar products now, and the USPs are sort of lost, so you have to decrease your price because of the competition. In price penetration, however, you charge a low price for a product and slowly increase it as your market share increases. The aim is to increase sales revenue with low price. Then, as the product is established in the market, the price is increased with the increased market share. In this, your aim is to increase the sales revenue with low price. Over here, is to increase the profit with high price. So that's the basic differences. And then last one, it's price discrimination, which is the most important one of them all, because in past papers, if you see, there have been long question answers for price discrimination, 8 marks. So generally, what is discrimination? It is a pricing strategy by a business to charge different prices to different customers for the same product or service. So the service provided or the product provided to different market segments is the same. It's the same service, the same product. However, you charge it differently. How can you do that? The market is first segmented and each segment has different PED. That's the basic idea. They have different price elasticity of demand. So you charge higher prices for inelastic demand and low prices for elastic demand. So like for example, it's generally used for ticket price, determining price for tickets for trains, airplanes, buses, etc. They all use price discrimination to charge high prices for business travelers and not so expensive for students and elderly. So if you know, the business travelers always have to like take one form of the transport, so the demand is generally always high, hence they try to make use of that. Like it is considered a necessity, therefore it has an elastic demand, so they charge high prices to business travelers, but they charge relatively lower to students so that they can have more sales as well, not just profit but sales as well. The service is the same, they have the same bus, they go to the same bus. It's not like they have a different air conditioned bus or something. No, the service provided is the same. The product is not differentiated or anything into economy class or business class. The journey is the same, everything is the same. It's just that you charge differently because they have different price elasticity of demand. Now, what's the advantage of it is that it allows for it allows to maximize revenue, boost sales, and attract customers in off season when your sales are not high. So you want to decrease prices to people who you think can, whose market will, who have elastic demand. So when you decrease price, the sales will dramatically increase. At least that's what the PED says. Now, however, there are some limitations as well. It may result in loss of trust of customers if they feel that they have been misled when they find out that the other market segment was given the same service at a different price. So, if a business traveler finds out that students are charged relatively lower, but he is charged higher, then they might lose the trust and they might go to some other business to competitor, and the business might lose customers, or even worse, they might have a bad word of mouth which can influence many more. And it's not always easy to set up prices in this way. There's market segmentation and deciding what price should be charged, and agreeing on a certain price, it's not too easy, so the administration for this might be complex. Furthermore, there could be a loss of profit if the business agrees to sell to one of the set of customers much cheaper than others. So if you're charging students much cheaper than the, for example, business travelers, and there's off season, they are not business travelers are not coming, but you are, since you have decreased the price, students are coming, your sales have increased, but your profit is decreasing because your the price you have charged is low. So that's all about price discrimination, comparative pricing, price skimming, price penetration, and pricing methods. Hope you guys understood it. Thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz.